What if money was never meant to be paper, plastic, or pixels? What if the thing you trust most, your salary, your savings? The numbers in your bank account is not a natural invention at all, but a fragile agreement built on belief. Today, money feels invisible. It moves instantly. It exists as numbers on screens. We are told this is progress. But for most of human history, money was heavy. You could feel it in your hand. You could hear it when it hit the table. You could test it, weigh it, and reject it. It could not be argued with. So the real mystery is not how money works today. The mystery is this: why did humanity choose metal as money? Why did power spend centuries trying to escape it? The answer is not about gold or silver, it's about trust. It's about limits. It's about control. Before money existed, there was barter. You had grain. Someone else had tools. You traded until you couldn't. Barter worked in small villages. It failed in growing societies. Why? Because barter depends on coincidence. You must find someone who wants exactly what you have at the exact moment you want what they have. As populations expanded, this system collapsed under its own friction. Trade slowed down, surplus wasted, specialization stalled. Civilizations needed something universal, something that could store value across time, something that didn't depend on trust in strangers, something that worked even when words failed. Across continents that never communicated, Mesopotamia, Egypt, China, the Indus Valley, humans reached the same conclusion: not livestock, not grain, not promises. Metal. Metal had properties no other material shared. It didn't rot. It didn't decay. It didn't disappear quietly. Gold didn't rust. Silver didn't break easily. Copper carried energy and utility. But here's the critical point most people miss. Metal already had value before it became money. Gold was used in ritual and power symbols. Silver was used in tools and ornamentation. Copper was used in weapons and infrastructure. Metal did not need permission to be valuable. That meant trust came from reality, not rulers. By 3000 BCE, Mesopotamia measured silver by weight, Egypt demanded gold tribute, China cast bronze money. Metal was unstamped yet, but it was already money in spirit. The turning point came when power realized something profound. If you control the measurement of metal, you control the economy. Around 600 BCE in Lydia, the first official coins appeared, metal stamped with royal authority. This wasn't just convenience, it was legitimacy, the stamp said. This metal is real. This weight is guaranteed. This value is protected by force. Coins spread across Greece, Persia, and Rome. Soldiers were paid in metal. Taxes were demanded in metal. Empires expanded on metal. Money and power merged. Metal had one dangerous feature. It enforced limits. You could not print gold. You could not vote silver into existence. You had to mine it slowly, painfully. And empires hate limits. Rome is the perfect case study. As Rome expanded, costs exploded. Standing armies, roads and aqueducts, bureaucracy and governance, but gold and silver supplies grew slowly. So Rome made a subtle decision. It debased their coins. The stamp remained. The appearance stayed familiar. Silver content was reduced. At first, no one noticed. Then prices rose. Then trust eroded. Then the trade broke down. By the 3rd century, Roman coins were mostly copper. Rome didn't collapse suddenly. Its money failed long before its borders did. This pattern would repeat for centuries. Metal money created stability, but also scarcity shocks. When metal ran short, trade slowed, wages fell, debt became crushing, deflation could be just as destructive as inflation. Medieval Europe struggled constantly with silver shortages. Kings could not pay armies. Farmers hoarded coins. Economic growth froze. So rulers searched for solutions. And every solution shared the same temptation: replace metal with trust. China pioneered paper money. Initially, it was backed by metal reserves. It worked beautifully, until rulers overprinted. Convertibility was suspended. Inflation followed. Europe repeated the experiment later. Goldsmiths issued receipts for stored metal. Those receipts began trading as money. Banks realized something dangerous. Not everyone would redeem at once. They issued more receipts than metal held. Fractional reserve banking was born. Metal still existed, but it was hidden. For centuries, paper promised metal. Until 1971, the United States ended gold convertibility. Money officially became belief. No physical anchor, no natural limit, only confidence. From that moment on, money could grow faster than reality. Debt exploded. Financialization accelerated. Crises grew larger and faster. Every metal-free system follows the same cycle. Easy creation gives expansion, gives debt, gives dilution, gives loss of trust today. Trillions are created digitally, global debt dwarfs production. Inflation quietly erodes savings, and yet central banks still hoard gold. Why? Because when belief breaks, settlement matters. Metal settles. Metal didn't just regulate economies, it regulated behavior. Spending felt real. Saving required sacrifice. Debt felt dangerous. Modern money removed friction. Risk exploded. Modern systems did not eliminate consequences. It delayed them. Delayed consequences are the most dangerous kind. Metal became money because it forced honesty. It stopped being money because honesty restrained power. This story isn't about returning to gold coins. It's about limits. Any system that removes scarcity settlement consequences eventually collapses regardless of technology. Reality always balances the ledger. Quietly at first, and all at once. Here's a detail rarely discussed openly. While public money moved from metal to paper, elite money never did. Kings demanded taxes in gold. Banks settled balances in bullion. Central banks today still hold tens of thousands of tons of gold. This isn't conspiracy, it's continuity. When systems function, belief is enough. When systems fail, settlement matters. Metal settles without negotiation. That's why during crises, gold is not advertised but accumulated. Quietly, strategically, public money becomes flexible. Elite money remains final. Metal didn't just limit governments, it limited time itself. When money was metal, you could only spend what existed now. The future could not be borrowed endlessly. Modern money changed that. Now the future is collateral. Governments spend tomorrow's labor today. Corporations borrow against growth not yet earned. Individuals live years ahead of productivity. This is not immoral. It's mechanical, and metal made it impossible. You can only borrow from the future once. Eventually the future arrives. It always asks the same question. Where's the value? Financial crises are not random failures. They are accounting events. They exist to reconcile. Claims versus reality, promises versus resources, belief versus math. Metal systems reconciled constantly, slowly, painfully. Modern systems reconcile catastrophically. That's why crashes feel sudden. But they are never sudden. They are delayed mathematics. The longer reality is postponed, the more violent the correction. Modern systems give the appearance of mastery charts, models, forecasts, projections, but no model can override human behavior, ever. Fear, greed, panic. Metal did not eliminate these forces. It contained them. Extract money amplifies them. This is why modern crises are larger, faster, and global. The system isn't fragile because it's complex. It's fragile because it has no anchor. Every monetary system follows the same arc. Truth gives convenience, gives leverage, gives collapse. Metal starts at truth. Fiat ends at belief. This is not ideology. It's arithmetic. When claims grow faster than reality, something must give. And what gives is never the math. It's the people who trusted the representation. Money rarely collapses loudly. It collapses quietly. Prices rise slowly. Quality shrinks silently. Debt becomes permanent. People adapt until adaptation becomes exhaustion. By the time collapse is obvious, value has already been transferred. This is why history never warns loudly. It whispers. Metal was not just one thing. Metal was memory. In every gold coin, someone's work was hidden, someone's time was accumulated, someone's effort was locked up. Metal remembered value. Modern money does not remember. It only updates. When money loses memory, society also starts to forget how much effort it takes to create things, how much time it takes to create value. That is why in modern systems everything is fast and nothing is stable. Metal money was a teacher. Mistakes were expensive. Wars were limited. Debt was dangerous when metal went away. Consequences were delayed. Now, losses are covered up by bailouts. Mistakes are called stimulus. Debt is labeled as growth. Society has stopped learning discipline. And without discipline, no system survives. It just keeps falling for a longer period of time. Every time money moves away from metal, a quiet transfer occurs, from savers to borrowers, from workers to asset holders, from the public to the system. This transfer is never announced. It is hidden in inflation, covered in policy language, and becomes normalized over time. Metal made this transfer visible. Fiat made it invisible. No. When money was metal, politics followed it. When money became abstract, politics began to control it. Interest rates became votes. Currency policy became power. Inflation became a series of decisions. In metal systems, the economy limited power. In modern systems, power shapes the economy. This difference changes the direction of civilization. Metal made one thing clear: growth has limits. Modern money created a dangerous narrative. Infinite growth is possible. But resources are finite, energy is finite, and human attention is finite. Only numbers seem infinite. And when numbers start running faster than reality, a correction becomes inevitable. In times of crisis, people do not run toward theory. They move toward real things: land, energy, food, and metal. Not because they have read books, but because human instinct is trained by history. Metal works even after a collapse. That is why the human mind does not forget it. Every system faces a final test. If trust ends, what remains? Metal's answer was simple: weight, reality, settlement. Modern money's answer is complex: policies, confidence, narratives. History shows that simple systems last longer. Metal money was not perfect, but it was bad at lying. Modern money is not perfect, but it is excellent at hiding lies. And when the lie is hidden, the correction becomes even more painful. Money is not just a tool for exchange. Money designs behavior. With metal money, people spent thoughtfully. They feared taking risks, and saving was a virtue. With abstract money, spending became effortless. Risk was normalized, and saving began to feel pointless. The system didn't just change, the human changed. Metal limited human weakness. Modern money exploited it. Metal was slow. Mining was slow, minting was slow, movement was slow. This slow speed was a protection. Modern money is instant. Instant transfers, instant credit, instant collapse. Speed has snatched away the time needed for correction. When systems become fast, mistakes have to become fast too. And fast mistakes are always bigger. In the era of metal money, prices spoke the truth. Low supply? Price up? Low demand? Price down? Today, prices are not signals, they are messages. Interest rates are manipulated. Markets are distorted. Risk feels false. Price discovery is dead. And without the truth of price, the economy moves in the dark. Metal money was not a moral system, but its consequences were moral. Mistakes were expensive. Fraud was difficult. Excess was visible. Abstract money has turned morality into policy. Whatever is politically acceptable is allowed. Whatever is inconvenient is postponed. The system doesn't just become wrong, it becomes confused. History is clear. Trust doesn't break from the bottom, but it breaks from the top. When elites break the rules, currency is diluted, savings lose value, and the public disconnects from the system. Metal forced even the elites to follow the rules. Abstract money gave them an exemption, and it is exemption that breaks trust. Metal systems rewarded savers. Abstract systems punish savers. Low interest, high inflation, permanent erosion. The role of the saver is disappearing from society. When saving ends, future planning also ends. Society begins to live only in the present. This is a sign of decay. It took centuries to debase Rome. Modern currencies take years, not even decades. This is not a coincidence. The more abstract the money, the faster the cycles. We are watching history in fast-forward mode. And fast-forward means less warning, more impact. Every era has a reset. Sometimes through war, sometimes through inflation, sometimes through debt forgiveness. The job of a reset is to erase old claims, introduce a new system, and redistribute power. Metal often becomes the reference point again after a reset, sometimes officially, sometimes silently. Every generation says, this time is different. This time, the difference is one of scale, a global system. Digital speed, interconnected collapse. But the pattern is the same, only the stage is larger. When the stage is larger, the correction is also larger. History asks us one question: will you choose your limits, or will limits be imposed upon you? Metal forced you to choose limits. Modern money delays limits. The bill for a delay is always higher. Money is not just a store of value. Money's memory. Metal remembered how much work was done, how much effort it took, how much scarcity existed. Abstract money forgets. Numbers are reset. Losses are rewritten. History is erased. When a system loses its memory, it repeats its mistakes, time, on a larger scale. With metal, the consequence was instant. A wrong decision equals immediate pain. Today, the consequence is deferred. Bailouts, stimulus, extensions, rollovers. The consequence hasn't died. It's just been pushed into the future. When a consequence is delayed, it compounds. Debt is not just a financial tool. Net controls behavior. Those who are in debt do not take risks, do not question the system, and follow the status quo. In metal systems, debt was limited. In modern systems, debt is permanent. Permanent debt equals permanent compliance. People say, The reward for hard work has decreased. This feeling is not wrong. The problem is not productivity. The problem is monetary dilution. When money expands without work, the relative value of work falls. Metal did not allow this. Abstract money does. Inflation is a tax, but it is invisible, unannounced, and unvoted. In metal systems, tax was visible. In abstract systems, tax is silent, and a silent tax hits those hardest who cannot resist. With metal, war was expensive, therefore it was limited. With abstract money, war became financeable, through debt, through inflation, through the future. This is why modern wars are long, endless, and borderless. The most dangerous stage of a collapse is when everything feels normal. High prices, normal. High debt, normal. Bailouts, normal. Metal kept normal tight. Abstract money stretched normal, and a stretched normal never returns to its original shape. The question is not, who is the owner of the money? The question is, who controls the settlement? In history, the public used paper, elites settled in metal. Even today, retail is digital, but institutions hold real assets. Rules change. Settlement rules do not. People think they have a choice: spend, save, or invest. But when the system itself is being diluted, choice becomes an illusion. In metal systems, choice was real. In abstract systems, choice is constrained. Constrained choice is called freedom. Limits never end. They are simply ignored, delayed, or repackaged. Metal limits were natural. Modern limits are forced. Enforced limits are always more painful. After every reset, narratives die, numbers reset, and promises expire. What survives are skills, trust, real assets, and social cohesion. Metal is remembered because it is a symbol of survival. Metal was tangible. Paper was representational. Digital money is code. Code means invisible, editable, and permission-based. When money becomes code, value leaves the realm of physics and enters software rules. And the owner of the software is the owner of the system. With metal, if you had the metal, you existed. In digital systems, existence is based on permission. Accounts can be frozen. Accounts can be reversed. Access can be revoked. This isn't theft. It is protocol enforcement. Metal was anonymous. No one knew when you earned, how much you earned, or where you spent it. Digital money has a memory. Every move, every pattern, every behavior. Value is now not just exchange, it is data exhaust. In the future, money will not just be money. It will be behavior feedback, spending allowed, saving discouraged, certain purchases blocked. This won't be a policy, it will be the default setting. Metal did not judge behavior. Code does. Stimulus can be infinite, but resources are not. When demand is artificial and supply is real, imbalance is inevitable. Metal exposed this imbalance early. Abstract money hides it until it is too late. Power never shifts loudly, migrates silently. From savers to debtors, from producers to allocators, and from citizens to systems. Metal distributed power. Modern money centralizes it. When a system becomes total, resistance looks abnormal. Saving is called hoarding. Limits are called regression. Questioning is called misinformation. With metal, skepticism was normal. With abstract money, skepticism becomes a threat. In the end, all systems stand on trust. Metal forced trust. Paper requested trust. Digital money assumes trust. And assumed trust is the most fragile form in history. When trust breaks, people don't panic. They withdraw. Silently, gradually, and systematically. Collapse doesn't come with an announcement. It comes with the end of participation. Every era is given a choice: slow growth with truth, or fast expansion with an illusion. Metal imposed the choice. Modern money delays it. The price of delay always compounds. This documentary wasn't about money, it was about us. Money is just a mirror, and a mirror never lies. It only shows what we are trying to avoid seeing. History doesn't end. It compresses, resets, and restarts. New names, new tools, but the same rules. The lesson of metal always returns even if the form changes. The metal, time was expensive, work equaled money, waiting equaled value. Abstract money, distorted time, future earnings are spent today, tomorrow's resources are consumed today. When time is distorted, civilizations become impatient, and impatient civilizations do not survive for long. Every stable society is built on sacrifice. Today, the concept of sacrifice feels outdated. In metal systems, sacrifice was unavoidable. In abstract systems, sacrifice feels optional until a crisis forces it. When a society forgets sacrifice, collapse reminds them. Previously, people asked, "What do I produce?" Today people ask, "What do I consume?" This shift is not cultural, it is monetary. Metal created a producer identity. Abstract money created a consumer identity. And consumer societies are never self-sufficient. The biggest lie of modern finance is, risk is managed. With metal, risk was visible. With abstract money, risk is hidden. Hidden risk does not disappear, it accumulates. And when it is released, it cannot be controlled. Every collapsing civilization becomes complex before the end. More rules, more exceptions, more explanations. Metal systems were simple. Simple systems are resilient. Complex systems look impressive until they break. Every era has its own belief system. Today's belief is, the system will work. Central banks are priests. Models are scriptures. Experts are prophets. Metal did not demand belief. It provided proof. Belief-based systems are afraid of questioning. There is an exact moment of collapse, when people stop asking, "Is this system fair?" and only ask, "How can I survive this?" At that moment, the system is technically alive, but morally dead. History says people give 3 reactions: voice protest, exit alternative systems, and silence internal withdrawal. In metal eras, voice was louder. In abstract eras, exit is silent. It is silent exits that weaken systems the most. A reset is never officially declared because an announcement brings panic. Therefore, a reset is gradual, it looks technical, it happens in the name of policy. Metal resets looked violent. Modern resets look administrative. The effect is the same. The very last stage is mockery. Those who warn are called extreme, those who doubt are called backward. Those who remind us of limits are called dangerous. In history, this stage is never missed. And it always comes right before the collapse. History doesn't always give a warning. At a certain point, it simply repeats. Same pattern, same mistakes, new actors. The lessons of metal have already been written. Ignoring them is nothing new. After a reset, only 3 things matter: skills, relationships, and adaptability. Numbers are reset. Status is reset. The meaning of metal was always this: real value exists only in real things. This documentary leaves behind one question: do we believe in the system or in reality? Both are not possible at the same time when the system disconnects from reality. This story does not end with noise, no headlines, no alarms, no countdown. One day, people simply feel something has changed. And on that day, the lesson of metal is remembered again. A little late, after a reset, everything feels empty. Old rules vanish, old numbers are meaningless, old confidence is broken. In this phase, society does not rebuild, it observes. This is a period of silence where new systems are born, usually unnoticed. After a reset, money does not return first. Trust returns. People exchange skills for skills, time for food, protection for loyalty. This is where the true work of metal began, making trust measurable. After every collapse, systems become simpler. Fewer rules, fewer layers, fewer intermediaries. Complexity is a luxury. Survival demands simplicity. Metal makes a comeback because it is simple. New elites are not loud. They control food, energy, and skills. Money comes later, power comes first. Metal only stores power, it does not create it. Global trust breaks first. Local trust is built later. Communities become smaller. Accountability is direct. Cheating is expensive. This was the original environment for the use of metal. People say history repeats itself. The truth is, history rhymes. Same principles, different tools. Metal can return, but that same world does not return with it. The first lie is, this system is fair. The second lie is, this time, we will manage the limits. In history, this lie has never come true. Limits are not managed. Limits are accepted. After chaos, people want safety. And in exchange for safety, freedom is quietly traded. New rules, new authorities, new currency. Metal becomes a symbol again, either of an anchor or of a memory. People ask, how does this new system work? That is the wrong question. The right question is, what are the limits of this system? Those who do not focus on limits repeat the same cycle. Metal was not just money, it was a teacher. It taught patience, restraint, and consequence. When money stops being the teacher, collapse becomes the teacher. Every generation thinks, we are smarter. Tools can be smart, humans do not change. The lesson of metal repeats because human nature repeats. At the final stage, money becomes irrelevant. Value becomes trust, capability, and reputation. Metal was the shorthand for all of these. When a system matures, symbols become simple again. Buildings are built first. Markets come later. Money follows. But the very last thing is confidence. Metal forced confidence. Abstract systems assume it. True stability is not loud. No constant growth talk. No emergency stimulus. No panic control. Metal systems looked boring. Boring systems survive. This documentary is ending, but the story is not. As long as humans exist, the question of value will remain. And as long as the question of value exists, the lesson of metal will remain relevant. Metal was not money. Metal was a reminder. And history always breaks those societies that ignore reminders. If this story unsettled you, that means it worked. Because money isn't just numbers on a screen. It's a mirror of how much truth a society can tolerate. If you want to keep understanding these hidden patterns before they repeat, not after they collapse, subscribe. Not for predictions, not for hype, but for clarity. Like this documentary, so the algorithm knows that depth still matters in a world of noise. And comment below with one simple question: is modern money built on reality or unbelief waiting to break? Because once you recognize the pattern, you don't just watch history, you see it coming. Stay curious, stay grounded, and remember the past isn't behind us. It's looping.